Okay, we have Bruce. Everybody, let's welcome Attorney Bruce Maskin to the show. Welcome, Bruce.
Hello?
Can you hear us?
Can you hear me?
I cannot hear you. Oh, hold on here. Hold on. I got a feeling it's me.
Can you hear me? It says I could see the indication that my voice is registering.
Okay, I do have you now. I had my headphones plugged in, didn't realize it.
All right, you can hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, good morning.
Good morning. So I'll give you 2 minutes. Say whatever you want to say.
Well, I be happy to answer some questions, but this is not a anti-SLAPP. It's a specific, discrete lawsuit based on a statute and the very narrow issue of the use of the name, image, likeness of and voice in thumbnails and videos. So that's what it is.
Let me ask you this: Is Scott Stark? Is he the filing attorney or is he a plaintiff? Because right now he's listed as plaintiff.
Yeah, I think that's just an error in the clerk's office. He's the plaintiff's attorney. He is not a party.
Okay, and So with that, you're claiming that, or at least Scott is claiming that Lynette's picture is being used to make money.
Well, the claim is that the name, image, and likeness is used for the commercial purposes of promoting the videos.
Okay, and so pretty much you're saying that money is the basis of it because it's commercial, correct?
Well, yeah, it's a claim for damages under the statute, and the statute recognizes different categories of recoverable damages, such as royalties, punitive damages, and so forth.
And I should have asked.
Your name is Mike, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So if you look, Mike, at like the thumbnails and the viewer numbers, you'll see that the thumbnails on all the channels using Ms. Preston's photo have much higher viewers than the ones without.
Yeah, but that doesn't really, just because it's got higher viewers doesn't really mean anything.
No, that's a fact that supports our theory that the image is used in order to increase viewership.
So let me ask you this: are you actually Lynette Preston's attorney?
I am engaged counsel, and right from the beginning, everybody gets hung up on not a Florida licensed lawyer. I've from the beginning have made clear I am not a litigation counsel. I'm not going to be appearing in court. Why? Well, because I'm not a Florida.
You're not representing her in a Florida court.
Correct, but I am engaged counsel, and the lawyers can provide many types of legal services and consultations, and be a lawyer for someone without having a license and appearing in a particular state's litigation.
So you have, and I'm a journalist, so I do have to ask these questions. So you have a signed contract with Miss Preston.
I don't need to get into that. I'm engaged counsel, and let me say I appreciate that you're having me on. You're the first one who, and let's face it, I mean yourself as well as the other handful of YouTubers are all really taking the side of Hales without question and only presenting his storylines. And I have attempted to ask. I've asked Tug and Megan Fox and others to have me on, MG Law to have me on, so I can just give the other side. And each time I get blocked out of the chat, and nobody's had me on. They just want to continue.
As long as
my
you don't...
theory, Mike. My theory, Mike, is that because they're not allowed to by who. They
as long as you don't attack somebody,
train.
As long as you don't attack somebody, I have no problem with you coming on. Because again, I do want to ask these questions. But there's a reason why I'm asking if you have a signed contract with her, because there's a lot of people out there claiming to be her attorney, and have been in the past. But when it comes down to, when it really comes push come to shove, they're not actually legal representation, and when it comes to people, if you're going to represent legally, there, as you know, there are consequences and responsibilities.
Yes.
So that's why I'm asking that question. And you don't have to, if you don't want to answer on air that question, I totally get it. If you'd rather answer off air, I totally get that as well.
Okay, but I mean, let me answer it this way. I am a legally engaged counsel. I can say to someone like yourself, I am her legal representative and I have authority to speak as such. For example, if hypothetically, if there were litigation against you, I can then contact you and say, hey, would you like to discuss it and see if we can resolve it on her behalf? That I can do. Whether I know you're hung up on a signed piece of paper. Yes, there is, quite frankly. I am engaged counsel.
Okay. No, that's fair. And that's why I want, for instance, I've said publicly on this stream, on other streams, I don't talk about John and Lynette primarily until the audience, if they ask me about it. I try to stay focused on the legal stuff. I try to stay focused on the issues with the government, because Veteran Nation, we fight harassment and corruption. I really do see Levy County as a corrupt entity. I can give many different examples of why I believe that, and we're going to keep highlighting it. I am not taking, even though I've showed who was running for the various offices, I'm not taking one political candidate side over another. So, good. How do you see this case?
Well, I think it's a very straightforward case, Mike, and it's a very discreet, narrow claim under the statute, and it's not nearly as involved, and it doesn't raise nearly the types and number of issues as exist and will be pursued. This is just to address the use of the name, image, and likeness and thumbnails. Now, you made a point that you believe it's frivolous, and I disagree, obviously, but and you said so they could sue back, but they have to win this case in favor. It has to terminate in their favor, the defendant's favor. And only then would they have standing to sue for frivolous litigation. They have to win this case outright. There can't even be a settlement. They can't give up a thing. They got to go to the mat, win, and then they can bring a claim for frivolous, which I believe would be the frivolous one. Frankly.
Well, obviously, me being a journalist, I do have some experience with and some knowledge on anti-SLAPP lawsuits. Now, I will say this. Today's the first time I ever looked at the Florida law. I live in California. I have looked at the California law, which there's plenty of examples.
They're all pretty similar, state to state.
So, are you expecting Jeremy, Tat, and Larry and George to file an anti-SLAPP response?
I have no idea. I have no idea what they'll do in response. I think they should take down the unconsented use of my client's name, image, likeness, and work out a fair resolution.
Have you advised your client to stop making public posts?
I can't tell you anything about what I've advised my client.
Sure. That's
I'm not sure what, I think what you're getting at is, public posts, meaning what, that she's making herself a public figure? Is that the point? I'm not sure.
She's, the whole big issue, as I've followed this, is Miss Preston has consistently made comments that she had a lawyer when she clearly didn't have a lawyer. She posted publicly that she would not follow a cease and desist. She's posted things, obviously accusations against Mr. Hales. And really, I think this whole case has gotten as big as it has, primarily because she refuses to honor any type of cease and desist and keeps posting and making public comments.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you a cease and desist, first of all, is people put more stock in that than what it really is. It's just basically saying, hey, I think you're doing something wrong to me. Please stop or else.
Yes.
Okay. So the cease and desist doesn't mean somebody has to do something or not do something just because they're getting a letter, saying cease and desist. As far as her posting, I mean, look, she's a free person. She could post as she sees fit, and of course, as a lawyer advising her, I have an interest in making sure she is careful about what she says publicly, and that's how it is. But she's her life has been consumed by this for a long time. She can't go outside without having people following her and filming her, so they can then send it to him for content. And that's what this is trying to put an end to.
Why is she trying to discourage people from making CPS complaints?
She's had 23 visits by CPS.
Yes. And
so why shouldn't she discourage people from making complaints?
Well, first off, if people have a reasonable belief, like myself, that the child is in any type of danger, we should be free to make those type of complaints. Obviously, CPS is a government organization. We have a right to redress our grievances with our government. And I'm currently on hold because I will be making a current complaint against her right now because the child is exposed to lice and fleas, and that is incredibly dangerous towards a young child.
Okay, so yes, you have the right, and so does any stranger from, Wyoming who watches What the Hells to call and say, hey, I just saw a YouTube video by What the Hells, and I'm convinced that the child is in danger. Please go and rescue her. Now, you're an intelligent guy. You are seeing and the people who make these calls are seeing one side. They're seeing one person defame and slander and make money and content off these people's lives. And they're not only not hearing the other side, but the people who are presenting that side are actively suppressing and not allowing the other side to even be discussed in chat or invited on, like you graciously have had the good faith to do today. And so CPS is 23 for 23. So do you think that suddenly, after 23 visits and 23, this is nothing, that now, today, your call is going to lead to something different? They've been there. The reports are available, not to anybody, but we will get them. And that each time they visited, they have to. They can't just say, oh, this is just another crying wolf from some, person watching Price is Right in Wyoming and is bored. And they have to do it, and they have to go there. And then each time they realize it's nonsense, it was incited by What the Hells, and they close the case and no indicator of anything. So you saw a video that there's lice. So you're now telling all your viewers, call the AG's office and demand that they go rescue the child because there's lice and fleas and junk around the yard. I mean, come on, Mike.
There's that, and I saw the video where the deputy had to order her to not put the child in isolation.
Well, okay, now that was when 5 people, without announcing in advance, showed up with a sheriff,
yes,
barged into her property, supposedly on the permission of this Lloyd, and then, on the pretext of removing an RV, went around and wandered around to film so that they can then share the film on YouTube and incite everybody to rescue the child. It's a storyline. You're being used in a storyline by a YouTube content creator, and this was orchestrated with Lloyd so they can film, so they can make those videos. So hold on, I'm going to call CPS.
I'm going to interrupt you because it was actually Lynette and John who invited Lloyd onto the property. He then became a tenant, and tenants have rights.
Yeah, but you see, you're making all of these legal conclusions. You're acknowledging all these legal issues about right to be on the property, who can invite who's a tenant, and you just accept all of them as coming out in favor of Jeremy
It's a fact that his trailer was there. It was connected. We all saw the video that it was connected. Okay. So
and it's not. Therefore, you're concluding. Let me say. So therefore, you're concluding that everything that happened that you saw on video is all legit because Lloyd had an RV. He gave permission. He wants his RV removed. He was a tenant. So everything they did is A-OK. No claims arise. Film, wander around, invade privacy, broadcast it on YouTube. and all you could do is pick up on she locked the kid in the shed because there's a bunch of strangers trying to take pictures of the kid, and she wants to protect her from that.
As the deputy stated, he did advise them not to go onto her curtilage, meaning of her trailer, because now that she has a tenant on her property, the common areas that Lloyd would have access to, his guests would then be able to have access to, and the deputy did protect her private spaces.
Well, yeah, but Mike, do you disagree with me? I'm going to make a declaratory statement, and you can tell me if you agree. This Lloyd Rescue the RV operation was a setup to take that film footage to broadcast it on YouTube to fit the storyline of Rescue Harley.
I disagree with that. It looks to me like she brought a tenant onto her property, and then the tenant wanted to get his property, and the recording was to protect his property.
And tell me something. Did you see anything to suggest that Lloyd had asked and was told, nope, you don't get your property back. See you later. We're keeping it. So that he had to hire Jeremy Hales and his cronies to do what they did? Or maybe.
Yes, I did.
Lloyd, you did where?
At the very beginning, she said only people not associated with Jeremy Hales can come onto the property. Lloyd has a right. If he wants anybody to go get his property, he has that right. She can't dictate to Lloyd who gets his property. Now,
but actually they could have discussed it though. So Lloyd could have said, hey, Miss Preston, I'm here recuperating from my broken hip that I incurred when I was getting drunk with your teenagers. And I'd like to get my property. I don't want to return to that property. I'd like to get my RV. And then they could have arranged it. But what happened was Jeremy Hales got in touch with Lloyd and influenced him. And you can use your own imagination of what their consideration was. But we saw Jeremy on the phone with him offering to help and telling Lloyd to make a report to CPS. And Lloyd saying, okay, but if I'm going to make a report, I better have someone sitting next to me so I don't mess it up.
I believe Lloyd reached out to Jeremy, not the other way around. So it'd be hard for Jeremy to set all this up when people are reaching out to him, not the other way around.
Well, the thing is, you heard Lloyd say, if you want me to report to the authorities, I need someone sitting next to me so I don't mess it up. It's almost as if saying, Jeremy, you're telling me to make a report to the authorities. Make sure you tell me what to say. I mean, it's almost what he said. And Lloyd said that he was in fear for his life. This is what Jeremy is propagating. He's in fear for his life, which is why he had to get a group of people to go and get his stuff instead of arranging it like a normal person. What is the fear for his life? Where does this come from?
Well, we've seen the text messages and we've heard from Lloyd himself where he said he fears for his life.
Well, yeah, but anybody could say fear for my life. I could fear for my life because I walked down the street and somebody waved at me because I'm a mental case.
Well, we already have John Cook who has pulled a gun on people who never even came onto the property. That's pending right now.
Okay, so John Cook is accused of pulling a gun. He's sitting in jail at the time last week. So therefore, I'm afraid to arrange to retrieve my property without hiring Jeremy Hales and him having a group of his cronies go on there and film. It
doesn't matter who Lloyd hires. He has the right to hire whomever he wants.
All right, we're going in circles, Mike. The point is, it was not set up in advance. There was no notice. The sheriff showed up with these 5 people. And
he doesn't have to give notice to get his property. It's his property.
Mike, you're wrong. You're just simply wrong. He was a
tenant.
It's transparently a pretext. It was transparently a pretext to film and broadcast. Obviously,
as we talk about stories right now, this is your client who. This is an older post, but she's had her stories that she's pushed, and this one right here, Jeremy there is a threat against making false CPS calls. So I mean,
there's a law against making false CPS calls. I have no idea why you think this should help your argument and not mine.
Well, I'll show you the next one because this is what she's been telling people publicly. Like, she gets very mad about public, Jeremy's public videos, but yet,
of course,
she's.
How would you feel? How would you feel if every day there was a 45-minute video on YouTube that has a channel with 700,000 subscribers and is defaming you, calling you a meth head, saying that you have an illegal adoption, and trying to incite strangers to start a campaign to have your child taken away from you? How would you feel?
This is her, and this is well over a year ago. He called again, and my daughter is still here because he's a liar, and I protect my child in all manners. She is loved and fed and well. The only one hurting her is you, Jeremy. You're a sick effing monster. I wish your fans could see what we see. And this is before any accusations of lice and fleas.
Well, you'd have to give me the date of that one, because this all started about a year with changing his channel content from storage wars to destroying the lives of Michelle Preston and John Cook. Started over a year ago.
So this was posted. Hold on here. I got to pull up the data.
So why does one of your viewers think I'm a nasty snake? Kim Yaibara. So tell me, why does Kim think I'm a nasty snake? Because I've tried to level the playing field for somebody.
Kim will have to answer that if she wants to answer it in the chat. I personally think most lawyers are nasty snakes. No, I'm not saying specifically you are. I believe most are.
I hear you. Listen, I know a lot of lawyers who are nasty snakes too. But this is a situation where there's, a powerful and wealthy individual who has decided to use his platform and his power to make a lot of money on a story, a fake reality drama that requires him to destroy the lives of innocent people who are helpless, who are poor, and who needed to be able to fight back.
So it's not showing me the date of this because it was a screenshot and it just shows 9 hours. I would have to look it up.
Okay, well, some time ago. I mean, before the license.
What I can say is this was posted to her Otter Creek friends and neighbors, and here I'll actually share it again and post it back up so people can see that. It was posted to Otter Creek friends and neighbors, and that has been taken down since I believe September of last year. So this is almost a year old.
Yeah, I don't see the relevance of it. But somebody asked, somebody's accusing me of not caring for the welfare of the child because I'm trying to protect Miss Preston. Well, in our view, the child would have had a great last year and a half if her life wasn't completely distracted by 23 CPS visits, strangers coming on her property trying to film her, taking a nice walk down the highway with her mom to go to Walmart, and having George come up and pace her and film her, Bruce, and then broadcast so that they could do a whole video about how she's risking her child's life by walking on the side of the road.
Bruce, I got to put you on hold for just a moment. I'll bring you back in, okay? Sure. Let's get back to Bruce now. Hey there, Bruce.
Okay. All right. That was CPS?
Yes, that was the Florida State CPS.
Is that a different agency than what was called before?
It's DCF. I don't know what it stands for in Florida.
Department of Children and Families.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so you just made a live report based on what you saw on a YouTube video.
On two separate YouTube videos, and that were unedited.
And because you've been following it, that the nature of what the Hales videos. It's one-sided is what I'm getting at. It's one-sided. He's not trying to present two-sided videos, Jeremy Hales.
I watched an unedited live stream, Bruce, stream, and I then decided for myself.
Okay, so no, and you were aware that there had been over 20 prior visits.
I am aware of that. Now, that is the whole issue of this. So DCF in my opinion, is not doing what they are appropriately should be doing. So again, I've made this call.
Except that they're professionals and they go there and visit in response to those reports. They actually go there and interview her and see the child and see the property.
Bruce, I've seen professionals not do their job. I've seen professionals not do their job.
23 times.
Bruce, my interest is in the care of this child more than anything else.
So you're not willing to defer to 23 professional visits by DCF professionals that left saying all good. You're not willing to defer to that.
I think Levy County is one of the most corrupt counties I've ever encountered doing this show and doing other work, government work. So that's what I feel.
So you're taking up the cause.
Oh,
you're taking the cue.
I will absolutely be highlighting more and more stuff from Levy County, not just DCF, the Sheriff's Department, the DA. If you've been watching this live stream, that should be very clear.
All right, but I want to stick on the DCF and the save the child thing. So you're aware that the DCF's been out there over 20 times. You're sure they're not doing their job, and so you're taking up the cause, taking it upon yourself to try to accomplish what
there's lice and fleas. There's lice and fleas. The child is in danger if there's lice and fleas. That is without a doubt.
Do you know that Ms. Preston isn't taking steps to rectify the lice and fleas, or do you think she's just like, oh, we like to live in lice and fleas? It's just the way we like to live.
I don't think she can properly care for the child. She's 60 years old. By her own admission, she's disabled, and the child is a runner. By her own admission, I don't think that child should be in her care. I think the child should be turned over either to be a ward of the state or turned over to extended biological family members who can properly care for her in an environment where she won't have to deal with things like lice and fleas.
Are you aware of any of these biological family members that could give her such a better life?
I really don't know. That would be up to the Florida courts.
Now, you're aware that there's a GoFundMe by to supposedly rescue the child?
I've heard that, but I don't know anything about that case.
Well, there's a GoFundMe by one of the aunts, Jessica, whatever her last name is, the former aunt, the sister of the biological mother, the birth mother, who has as much standing as you do to bring a court action to challenge the adoption or have the child removed. Do you know that the adoption was decided before the birth of the child, and that Ms. Preston took the child from the hospital right from the beginning?
If these are facts, here's what I would encourage you to do: is to post.
You said it was an illegal adoption on the phone to the CPS. You just said she's an illegally adopted, and it's an illegal adoption. You used those words.
I did not say illegal adoption. What I said was it's a legal guardianship. That's what those are the words I used.
Okay,
I'm very careful with what I use.
This is a mother, and
to my knowledge, based upon the documents I have seen, if you have others, please provide them to me or post them publicly, and I will happily.
They have been posted publicly, Mike. You're not watching everything. You're watching What the Hells. If you watch Two Lees in a Pod, you'd have seen the legal documents establishing the adoption legally.
Well, then
you
they
didn't see that. So wait a minute. So you
were able to reach out to me via email. They can reach out to me via email, and I'll post them. But from what I saw, everything.
Wait a minute. Hold on. You're covering this. You're being journalistic here. You're covering a story, and this is available information. But you are not going to see. You're not going to look. You're not looking at the other coverage.
I don't watch.
In which case?
I don't watch Two Lees in a Pod. You're on my show. You have a platform.
Okay, but you
have my email. You can send them to me right now. If you send them to me right now, I'll put them on the show.
That's fine.
I'm telling you what I have access to, what I don't have access to.
Okay, Mike. I appreciate that. We will send them. We will send them to you. We will send them to you. But my point, Mike, can I talk?
Sure.
My point is this. We will send them to you. My point is this.
Yeah,
you went on the call right now and you told something based on your belief that is not a proper legal adoption when that information that it is a proper legal adoption and the documentation of it has been made public, and you have not gone to the length.
I have not seen any of these documents. If you send them to me, or if you post them publicly and show me where they are, I will look at them. I will.
And then you'll call back CPS and tell them that you were incorrect.
The information that I had at the time of that call was that it was a legal guardianship. That's what I knew, and that's what I stated. You are trying to.
I've never heard I've never heard a single YouTuber address the issue of this adoption and then make the conclusion that it's a legal guardianship. So I believe that you in your head are influenced to believe it's not a legal adoption because of what the hells, and therefore on the spot you decided to use the phrase guardianship.
You tried to say I said a legal adoption. I never used those words. I never use those words because I don't know if there's an adoption. I'm telling you that
I believe you did, but I'll have to read. I'll read it. But look, there is, and the documents have been made public on Tulis, and you could have known that if you had.
I don't watch that show. It's not a news source.
But you're covering a story, man. You should be covering all angles. You should be.
It is not a news source that a reasonable person would go to. If you want to post it, if you posted it on your page, you are saying that you are her lawyer, then it becomes a source.
All right,
but you're telling me.
But I got
you. You're
okay.
very
no problem. We'll send you the documents so you can clarify for your viewers that it is an absolute legal adoption. It has been since the beginning. Now
you're very wrapped around the axle about podcasts. I don't use podcasts as a source of information. I might present it and say, this is what they're saying. I'm telling you, I don't watch that podcast. I actually, I do watch Jeremy's videos, but I also watch other videos. I did not get the information on the child from Jeremy's video. I actually got it from Madam Mayor's Adventures. I watched the live stream.
Okay, I got you. Madam Mayor, when we talk about Madam Mayor's Adventures and what the hell, it's really pretty much one and the same.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Stop.
Yes, they are, because
it is
they're
not.
all presenting my client in the same light. They're all presenting my client in the same light.
Your client has accused them of making DHS or DFS complaints as well. I have those screenshots where she claimed that they were the ones calling. So if they're getting lumped together, it's because you're. If they're getting lumped together, it's because your client is the one doing it, no one else.
All right, look, I appreciate your having me on. I will say, you watch the videos like thousands and hundreds of thousands of people do, and based on that and only that, you went ahead and called CPS as if you had, the knowledge and enough information to make that report. But it's only based on YouTube videos on what the hell's a Madam Mayor. Am I right?
Unedited.
I believe you made a fool of yourself.
I watched an unedited video first, and then I watched Jeremy Hale's where Deanna had a video. That one had some edits, but I watched it and it only confirmed. So two sources.
Okay, and I think
two sources.
Okay, I appreciate it, and I think frankly that anybody who would call the CPS on somebody because of a YouTube video is being foolish and making a fool of themselves.
Well, I mean, that's your opinion. You can do that. Again, I don't feel, based upon other stuff that I've seen in Levy County, it is one of the most corrupt counties I've ever seen. So I am not going to stop on this county. In fact, I will keep on this story because transparency is how you fight corruption.
Okay, you're talking about Levy County corruption. I'm talking about my private client's life and child being disrupted. And because of CPS reports by people who watch YouTube.
I really don't care about your client. I really don't care about your client at all. I don't care about what she does or anything. If I see something that's wrong, I will step in. Again, on the video, I saw something was wrong, I make a call. But beyond that, I really don't care about your client, what she does, what they do. I care about the corruption of Levy County, and that's how I have been brought to this case.
Okay, I appreciate that. Somebody asked if I have kids. The answer is yes. I have a junior in college and a high school freshman, and I appreciate anybody who's trying to expose corruption. But I think you're making quite a leap to exposing Levy County corruption to calling CPS on my client. So I appreciate you having me on. You've done more than Tug or Fox or anybody else. For that, you deserve credit. And
if you want to come on again, you can come on. I'll say that.
I appreciate it. And I believe, I'm not going to say for sure, but I predict I will. And I think there might be a little, fallout from this call and petition. I hope not, but wish you hadn't done it. When I saw you doing it, that's when I that's when I dropped the chat and said, "Why don't you have me on?" And unfortunately, my joining didn't prevent you from making that call, but we'll see.
It's a good faith complaint that I made, and I'll just tell you, if your client puts a thing on me, I will absolutely be filing with an anti-SLAPP lawsuit.
You have every right to do what you feel you need to do, but I will disagree.
Full fair and warning.
I don't believe it was a good faith complaint, but we'll see.
I'm telling you, it was a good faith complaint, and I even told you where I got the information and why I called.
I know. I appreciate it. All right, you have a great day. And somebody's asking, why am I losing my license? I'm not losing my license. I've never lost my license. It's never been suspended. I'm in good standing in Connecticut and Massachusetts. I am fighting a minor disciplinary matter that was started, and I talked about from the very beginning, because I knew people would look me up and they would exaggerate and say, oh, he lost his license because they read an article about an ongoing proceeding. So that's the clarification on that. I'll be happy to answer any questions about it now or later.
Well, I appreciate you coming on and talking. Like I said, I'll gladly have you on again if you want to talk about it further.
All right, and I will endeavor to get you the adoption documents shortly, if possible, for you to show on this stream.
Anyone who has them, veterannation@protonmail.com is my email. I have it listed down below. I even have a phone number that people can call right there. They can call and leave voicemails too. So anyone who wants to give me information, I am fully available. And, most stuff I will show on the show.
All right. I got to run, and you have a good one.
You have a good day, Bruce. I appreciate it.